Good
Hello,
evening.
welcome everybody. We are back with another toxic show for you guys. Fresh on this Monday evening. Maybe not so fresh because it is extremely hot, but we are here nonetheless. Before we get started with today's show, guys, as always, please continue to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, guys. Let's get those subs up. We are pushing for 200 subscribers. The channel is growing continuously. Like I said, we have a panel here, of some regulars that we've had on the show. Obviously, on the top right hand corner there, guys, Mr. Man United himself, we've got Liam, continues to rep his team. I think he's maybe feeling a bit better than what he was the last time we had him on. Hit bottom left corner, we've got my fellow Guna in the city who obviously is not doing too well. As you can see, he's waving the
Yeah.
white flag with the t shirt that he's even wearing, change of color. And then we've got Mendes, guys, who obviously is overjoyed. Spurs win against City, win against Villa this weekend. This guy was so excited, he even voted that he's not going to join the podcast and decided to surprise us. So that's what we have here. Guys, as always, like I said, we're going to get into it straight away. And I think it only makes sense to start with the game of the weekend in terms of teams and size of the teams. And that is at Old Trafford. That is Man United 1, Chelsea 1. Liam, obviously, you did predict a United win, and I think you probably felt when United scored their penalty that you guys would probably go on to win the game. I think Caicedo gets that goal, which I mean, let's be honest, guys. How many of our defensive midfielders score a goal like that? Like if a team's number 6 scores that kind of goal against you, you just feel like it's not going to be your day. And I think on the balance of the game, because I did watch the entire game yesterday, I think it was a deserved draw. I think a draw was a fair result. Um, just Liam, what did you make of the game? Obviously, this is Root's first Premier League home game. Obviously, second home game under in his tenure. What did you make of the performance of the team? Were you impressed, or did you just think there was still like this is still Ten Hag-esque signs there into the team?
Yeah, evening, gents. Thank you so much, Shannon, for having me on again. I think yesterday's game was kind of frustrating for me. If we talk about, just getting forward on that transition, I think, we lost possession too many times in midfield. It's almost as if we try to build up and we lose the ball in midfield the whole time. It almost feels like we don't have an engine. It almost looks like Kobe Maino is needed in the team. You know what I'm saying? I think we do miss Kobe Maino. I think Casemiro doesn't have the legs anymore, but he has the experience. Okate, yeah, I still want more from him. But I think besides the penalty, Shannon and Jens, I think we needed to win that game in the first half already. The bar that Rashford kicked, there was so many one-on-ones Garnacho had. I really felt like we should have buried them in the first half. I think in terms of opportunities, we were the better team in the first half. But as far as possession and all of that was concerned, they were much better and a stronger team than us. I think when they scored the penalty, I thought, yeah, we have them now. But then obviously they scored and yeah, what a goal from Casero, man. I think that was a great goal from him. But I still feel like Onana should have just switched on there. I think he was sleeping there. I think, and my thing with Rude also is like, yeah, he's motivating the players. We look like we want to score goals and stuff, but it almost feels like we're neglecting the back. So I think they just need to fine tune at the back, and yeah, man, we hopefully. I think the next 3 games we have Leicester, Ipswich, and I think Everton before we play Arsenal, and then there's the international break as well. So I think there'll be enough time to get that team to match the level of that Arsenal's on, the level that City's on, and Liverpool as well.
Hmm. Listen, I know my team is playing a bit shit, but I mean, geez, your managers must have to do a lot to get to my level. I'm just saying, I know we didn't perform well, but we saw Arsenal City. Look, listen, hey
No,
man,
but
hey,
but
who am
that's the
I to
thing. But
judge?
that's the thing. We have the Arsenal, no pun intended. But we have the players to go out and do the job. You know what I'm saying? We do have star players.
Yeah,
Why can't we
100%.
perform on that level? So I think
Yeah,
Emran comes in and enforces that identity. I think we should be okay, man.
100%. And look, just looking at yesterday's game, I do have to agree with you. I think midfield-wise, United looked a bit like shaky. They didn't really retain the ball very well. I think it suited United to actually be more on the counter attack when letting Chelsea have more possession, which is not what you ideally want as the home team. As the home team, you want to be on the front foot. And I do think, like, people were saying in the last game that Ugarte and Casemiro kind of balance each other out. I don't think they do. I think they're too alike. They very much breaking the play down, very much like simple passes. Okay, look, I want like Cass's ball that he gave yesterday for the penalty was brilliant. I have to say that was a super pick out, bro. Like that is like what you want from a player of that level. Ugarte looked a bit, and I'll liken him to Mikel Merino at Arsenal. He just looks a bit off the pace. Like the Premier League, he's still getting used to it. He made a lot of fouls yesterday. Lucky maybe not to get a second yellow if you look at the amount of fouls that he did accumulate. Maybe they would say they're not necessarily yellow card worthy. But I do think that for United, I think it's a good building block. Just even though it's a home game, to get that point against a rival like Chelsea. When you don't get outplayed, that's the main thing. United for a couple of years now in these big games tend to get outplayed. I mean, looking at the 7-0 against Liverpool. I mean, Arsenal come to Old Trafford and done well. Chelsea have done well against United at Stamford Bridge. City, for example, even Spurs not so long ago winning 3-0 at Old Trafford. I think the main thing that I think United fans should be happy about is just not necessarily, like I said, drawing or Chelsea, but I think the manner of the performance was a lot more spirited. I obviously just want to bring in one of the other guys here, Medes, bro. You guys obviously beat United very comfortably. At Old Trafford, getting a well-deserved win that day. Did you see anything different from United yesterday that you think, that their fans should be a bit more confident going into the next round of games, which Liam did mention is Leicester, Ipswich, and I think, who did you say, Liam? Another small team there?
Everton.
Everton. Medes, but do you think that United fans should be a lot more confident and maybe should expect like 9 points out of the next next three games?
Yeah, bro. I think the two games they played last week is a clear indication that the team morale was very low. The spirits are very low, and I think coming back of the coach being sacked and winning 5 yet, sure, it's Leicester's B team or whatever the case, but just that confidence level that the players they didn't have. Like yesterday, I feel like they displayed a better confidence, even when they miss shots or whatever the case. Regrouping looks like a thing that they want to do now. It's like they want to do this thing, they want to compete, they want to go there, they want to represent the badge, And I feel like the next lined up games is it's a nicer path to allow them to actually be able to build that confidence. Because I feel like if they were already facing like your giants in like Liverpool, it would actually just make it worse, But I think the next couple of games are very crucial in terms of them gaining that momentum, gaining that team morale, and boosting their confidence in playing. Because you see, like like Liam, what he mentioned about Giannacho, not clinical, bro. Like, it just seems like he lacked confidence, bro. Like, he had like 2-3 chances that were like clean, and he could just finish, but it's like it's not confident enough to go for the ball. Like, should I shoot? Should I just pass it on? Like, so those little things where you see like your usual star players like Saka, just take a shot. Just take a shot. If you miss, you miss it, And if it goes in, then it's good for the team. But I do believe that better days are ahead. If they do capitalize on the next couple of games, like you say, no disrespect to the opponents that they're facing, but just to say there are teams that United should be fairly being able to like fare out easily, So yeah, I think it's gonna go up for them.
100%, and I do think, like you mentioned, I think it's also just purely a confidence thing with United. I think the players' confidence has been so shot down under Ten Hag, and it's maybe not all down to Ten Hag. I think some of the players have let themselves down as well. I think guys like Rashford and Bruno. Even Bruno says, he should have been scoring more goals, and he feels like he's kind of to blame for Ten Hag getting sacked because he feels like he didn't perform to the best. But I think it's a little bit too late to say that now. Like you should have been performing, or like putting your efforts in. I'm not saying, look, I have to give Bruno this. He always works hard. That's one thing you can't knock him. Is he's always the like doing the most in terms of his off the ball kind of stuff. But Donzi, just want to bring you in, bro. Obviously, blue side of the half. Obviously you representing Chelsea. You guys, got a point yesterday. I mean, in hindsight, now it's a good point because you were 1-0 down, especially at Old Trafford, where you guys have been quite poor over the last few years. Really struggled to get the result. What did you make of your team's performance yesterday, bro? And what did you make just of the approach that you guys had to the game and how you guys conducted yourselves in the game yesterday?
Good evening, gents. Yeah, Shannon, bro. Um, I'm disappointed. You know, 11 years, I think, or 12 years now. It's been that we haven't had a win at Old Trafford. I thought, bro, yesterday was probably the day that we could have, capitalized on that the most. I feel like the United team that we faced yesterday definitely it's probably one of the worst United sides that we've seen, in these last coming years. I think, things didn't really go our way, going 1-0 down, the penalty, Rob Sanchez isn't really doing us any favors, we spent, a lot of like 100, I don't know how much money we spent, bro, but we still haven't got a good solid goalkeeper. And a goalkeeper is pretty much what the foundation of a good team. To have a good team, you need to have a good keeper, and obviously we're not very confident with Rob Sanchez. So yeah, we're gonna see what we can do with that in the next window. But yeah, overall, Caicedo, beautiful midfielder, probably the best player on the pitch. You know I think underrated at times. Sometimes you get this Rice talk, this Gravenberg talk. Caicedo. He needs to be in these conversations and he needs to be acknowledged. Because yeah, he's amazing, and I feel like without him yesterday, we don't get a point. That we don't get the point that takes us above Arsenal. So, I'm disappointed with the result. Happy that we got to go above you guys. Into that fourth spot. Would have been better if we were at third. But a point's better than no point, bro. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
100%. And look, I think overall for Chelsea, it's also, Enzo Maresca still got a very young side there with him. And I think, to go to Old Trafford and not lose, I'm not saying that a draw is great and you should be happy with a draw, but it could have been worse. It could have been a typical thing where you go 1-0 down. The history of the tie shows that you don't win here often, and then it gets to your head, and then you end up losing that game. And a point for me is always a point gained. You know what I'm saying? Because you could have 0 points. Yes, you could be in a winning position and say 2 points drop, but ultimately you get a point. It's always better than zero, bro. I mean, Arsenal lost the league last season by what is by 1 point.
The
So you
most
never
drawn game in Premier League history was just
exactly.
Chelsea.
So that just shows you, bro, that it's always a cagey. It's always a cagey affair when those two teams link. Let's see, I should to bring you in quickly. Obviously, we've got Chelsea next, and then we've got United in a couple of games as well. So this was a good, maybe not a good indication for us in regards to Man United because obviously Ruben Amorim comes in and they might play a lot differently by the time we play them. But just obviously on Chelsea, we saw that they did dominate the ball. They had some good chances, but some of the players that you would expect to take a hold of the game yesterday didn't really perform. The likes of Cole Palmer, Nani Madueke, Nicholas Jackson were very, very quiet yesterday. Do you think that there's something Arsenal should be looking at in regards to how to stifle this Chelsea team? Because United actually really stopped Chelsea from having very many clear-cut chances. What did you just make of the Chelsea's key men yesterday? Were you disappointed in how they performed? Obviously all the talk is Cole Palmer this, Cole Palmer that. But yesterday didn't really have much effect on the game. What are your thoughts on Chelsea's key men yesterday?
Firstly, what's up, gents? Hope everybody's good. Highlighting what you just said there, Shannon, I think Chelsea are a really good side. I think we can't take them lightly, regardless of whether Palmer is performing or not. I think they've got a lot of players around the pitch that can make an impact. I think where we can capitalize is if Reece James doesn't start for them on the weekend. I think Martinelli could have a bit of a field day on that left hand side. But yeah, if Reece James does start, if he is fit, then that's another problem that we'll have to navigate around. I think the Chelsea side that we're gonna face is it's gonna be solid, man. That Caicedo Lavia pivot is proving very difficult for teams to break down. So I hear what Don's is saying about Caicedo should be in the chats amongst Rice and all the other CDMs, but I don't think he's proven himself yet in a consistent way. I think 10 games into the season, he's definitely shown his potential and his talent, but we've got Rice and Partey. I think if we go with that midfield on Saturday, or is it Sunday? I'm not too sure, but if we
Sunday.
go with that midfield, yeah, if we go with that midfield, I think we'll be in for a very good game with maybe Havertz in that 10 role. Hopefully, Udegaard is back, then we can just bring him on as a sub because I think that's what we've been lacking, that creativity. I think I watched the highlights against the Newcastle game, and yeah, man, I hardly saw us have a shot in at Nick Pope,
Mm.
which for us is quite upsetting because if we're going to be playing Chelsea and we can't even test Sanchez, what's the point of Chelsea not even having a great keeper because we won't even be able to get shots away. So yeah, man, I think if we come in with a solid midfield and our back four intact, I know we aren't in great form right now, but yeah, man, I think we can really stand a chance to beat this Chelsea side.
100%. Liam, but just quickly before we move on to other games, um, that's a point now, obviously, in Ruud's first league game. He's probably going to be around for the next league game. And then after that, I think after its international break, he'll be out of it. I think then Ruben Amorim comes in, if I'm not mistaken. Do you think that United will be in a better position, under Amorim in the next couple of games? Or do you think it will take a while to get over the Ten Hag hangover? Or are you hoping for an instant impact from your new manager?
It's difficult to say, to be honest with you. But if these two games are 10 go by, I think these boys look like they want to fight for Root. They look, firstly, to fight for him to stay at the club as an assistant or in whatever capacity the club would obviously have him as, but possibly an assistant until possibly next season. And then I think they're bringing Ruben Abrams' own, technical stuff. But I think you'd want to keep Ruud in, and I think the players want to fight for him to show that the people higher up that this guy can stay at the club. They want him to stay there, and yeah, man, I think he should win the next three games. I said Everton, Ipswich, and I forgot the other game that we're playing before Arsenal. Is it Arsenal? Yeah, before Arsenal, right?
Yes. Yeah, you
So
said the Leicester game.
yeah, so I think they should win those games, man. I think if they can go with that same consistent with that hunger and that tenacity that they had against Leicester, and also in parts of that game yesterday against Chelsea, I think, yeah, man, we could get a lot of goals out of these boys. But like I said early on, we need to fine tune the team at the back. I think we still, we're conceding too many stupid goals. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I'd assume that the next three games they'll win.
No, 100%. And look, I think there's a lot to, like I said, there's a lot to be excited for, which if you're a Man United fan, because obviously you've got a new manager coming in. There will be that automatic new manager bounce. The only thing that I'm worried about is that this seems like a very familiar pattern for United. New manager comes in, players are fighting, it then goes a bit sour, and then the players are throwing the manager under the bus, and then it's an interim coach. So I don't know, man, I've seen the story once too many times with United, and I think, listen, this is not me judging Ruben Amorim at all. I think he's a fantastic manager. I mean, Sporting are the only unbeaten team, I think, this season. They've only conceded 3 goals in the league and scored 33. That's actually insane. So Sporting are well coached. I think once Amorim gets the players on side and buying into the system, he definitely has an impact on the team as a whole. I'm just scared that the size of the United as a club might come back to bite him. But obviously, it would be cool to see him succeed, in a sense that he maybe does get the board's backing where he can change certain players. This example, he's not happy with Rashford, and the board back his decision to maybe terminate the contract or sell him, and I think that's the most important thing when it comes to the new managers, that the board are going to have to back his decisions. It shouldn't be player based because, I think United have had too much player power over the past 10 years since Fergie left. Since under Fergie, only Rooney was the only player I've ever seen hold Alex Ferguson to ransom. And I mean, that's a club legend, bro. If Rooney is asking for X amount of money, you're going to pay, bro, because he's got the CV for it. Guys like Rashford, Bruno, who ultimately haven't proved nothing, bro. I mean, they've really been disappointing, if you're being completely honest. Maybe Bruno not as much as Rashford. But I do think that under Amorim, I think United will be a much better team. And I'm actually quite nervous for the game when you play you guys. So I don't know what to expect. And that's actually what's making me a bit fearful. But Liam, if you just want to add something, I saw you did unmute yourself there.
Did you ask me something, Shannon?
Oh yes, but I saw that you unmuted yourself, so I wanted to know if you if you wanted to go on.
Yeah, I was just speaking about. I just wanted to say with what you said about Rashford. I think should or when the new coach comes in, and Rashford doesn't perform under this coach, I think you need to count our losses with Rashford and tell him. I think we've given him way too many opportunities, and I think the club is suffering because we had this for years, where we have this sort of obsession with academy players making it through to the first team. That we almost give them so many opportunities, man. So I think if Rashford doesn't tick under this new manager, they need to sell him. They need to count their losses and sell him. And also with Ruben, the new coach coming in, I think if the board can back him the way the Liverpool board backs Arne's Slot and the Arsenal board backs Arteta, I think he should be okay. And as long as he also gets the respect from the players, it almost seems like this Man United dressing room, it's like they sabotage coaches. It almost looks, like you said earlier, it looks like a pattern. Think I hope, but the players is relatively young, so I think you'd understand the players better, and you wouldn't want to come in there and try and be Ferguson. And I think that was Ten Hag's problem. I think he wanted to bring in that hair dryer treatment of Sir Alex Ferguson, when dude, we don't even know who you are. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see.
100%. Obviously, guys, we do know that there are Champions League and Europa League games. We're not going to do predictions for that now. I just think there's too many different competitions, too many fixtures. But obviously, we'll do Thursday show, have predictions for the Premier League weekend games. Okay, moving along swiftly, might as well get this one out the way. Obviously, Arsenal had the early kickoff over the weekend. I had myself on Supersport, chest out, speaking confidently on my team, and obviously, they naturally dared to disappoint me after I went on national television and back them up. So Arsenal 1-0, Newcastle 1. I think that was arguably one of the poorest performances I've seen under Arteta. And that's not just this season, I mean in general, guys. I have this thing that I always go by. I'm not gonna say I don't mind losing. Everyone doesn't like to lose. The manner in which you lose is also so important, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what they say, you goes down fighting. If this is a boxing match, you go down fighting, you get some sort of respect from your opponents, bro. People get like, nah, that was admirable. You did well, bro. We went down with a whimper. Like, we weren't great. I think we had one shot on target the whole game. That's absolutely atrocious, bro. That's absolutely atrocious. But I just don't understand how Arteta, with the abundance of attacking quality options that we have, guys. Look, we talk about injuries, we talk about this, we talk about that. The only attacking player that was injured for Arsenal yesterday was Martin Odegaard. You cannot tell me that Arsenal are that reliant on Martin Odegaard, because if that's the case, then I'm looking at Arteta with much more question marks as to why he didn't get adequate backup for Odegaard then. If your system is so heavily reliant on one player, then you need to make sure either that player stays fit, or B, you have a replacement to a sort of level that can give you that. We had Smith, we had Vieira. Then you say, no, you got Wanyeri. But then you don't play him when we don't have Odegaard. It's like, so when are you planning on playing this Odegaard replacement? If Odegaard is, when he's injured, you're not playing him. And I think, obviously, Lesedi, bro, we had high hopes for this game. I think it was a game we thought we would win. And I think it was because, we lost there last season in the manner that we did. I just thought we'd have more fight. I thought we'd have more hurt, more anger to be like, listen, they are cheated us last season. The ball was out. They pushed Gabriel in the back. We think the guys are going to be fired up. And it looks like Newcastle were the ones hard done by that result last season. They came out. I mean, first 10 minutes we were good. And then I can't tell you what we did for the other 80 minutes. So, Lesedi, bro, what did you make of the performance on the boys? Obviously, very disappointing not to get the victory, and obviously that does put a lot of doubt into our title credentials. Just like I said, just your thoughts on the game, bro.
Hey, man, I think I'm hearing everything that you're saying. The fact that with the talent that we have, we only managed to get one shot on target. Says a lot about how that game went when, Arsenal are a team that generally average about 6, 7 shots in a half. You know what I mean? To only have one the whole game is absolutely atrocious. And the fact that you're saying, there might even be some question marks around Arteta because of like how poor the performance was. I think I couldn't agree with you more, man. Like, yes, we went there and we lost last season, and I even mentioned this on the stream on Thursday. I was like, the fact that we've gone there and lost last season. Hopefully, the boys are going to play with a bit more pride and a bit more heart. We just look so deflated. It's like we lost against Bournemouth. Now, what are we going to do to bounce back? Absolutely nothing. I think, if we kept someone like Smith Rowe or actually even giving Nwaneri a chance to start, we will actually be able to see how much depth we have in the team. I think relying on that Trossard, Havertz, mix up, link up, it worked for 2 or 3 games and then nothing, which in its own rights is like, okay, what's next? What's not working? How can we fix that? And now we've got Chelsea up next, but now do you keep the same team that's lost back-to-back games, or are you going to shuffle it up? Are you going to bring in Nwaneri? Are you going to bring in, maybe like a Sterling to start ahead of Martinelli? Because what are we gonna do? And I'm just disappointed in that result, honestly. Like I was gonna wear my Arsenal shirts in the morning, and then something just said to me, "Nah, man, save that for Tuesday." And I see now why I didn't wear it. I'm just so disappointed in the boys from the results on Saturday. Like early kickoff, and you called it. It could be a hit or miss. Now look at us, disappointed wearing
Yeah.
our white flags. Yeah, man. I think hopefully we can do something against Chelsea. I think something's got to change. And with Edu leaving, I don't know what state that leaves our club in at the moment. So that's also something we've got to factor in. Our sporting director leaves the week of, arguably one of the biggest moments, pivotal moments in the season. Back-to-back losses. Now we've got two or three of our biggest rivals in the next 5 games. How do we bounce back? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
And look, ultimately, I think the main thing that you obviously like one of the key things you highlight is how do we bounce back, and that's the most important thing now. And that's on Arteta, that's on the players. And I think I was watching AFTV earlier, and Lee Judges, who's one of the regulars, they were just saying like it's up to the manager and the players to inspire us as fans to get us back on side because the fans have been brilliant. We've supported them through all the highs and the lows. They need to once again show us with the performance starting on Wednesday against Inter Milan and then going into the Chelsea game that they are serious, that they actually want to win this title. Otherwise, it's just all talk. And then what frustrates me, bro, that the things that like you got guys like Patrice Evra who's saying Arsenal's always next season, and you want to bite back and say, no, bro, we've changed. And it's like, no, we haven't. Liam, wait. Just wait. I see Liam is keen to jump in there. Well, and that's what's frustrating, bro. And it's like, maybe is it due to fatigue? Are the players a bit tired? But then my question is then, right, bro, if you make some changes, bro. Like I think Arteta is so stuck in thinking that I don't know if he thinks that Arsenal fans are gonna hate him if he tries to something new. For example, right? Arteta, when the team was struggling, when he just came in, was playing a back five. We've never seen it again. Why can't you do a back five? Why can't you go Ben White or Tumba, Gabriel Saliba as your back three, put Martinelli as a wing back, put Saka as a wing back, and then maybe switch up. Maybe have 2 strikers, Jesus and Havertz. Try something, bro. Try something. You know what I'm saying? He's just not. He's like, okay, for example, we're losing. How are you losing this game? And you decide that Jorginho, Ben White, and Zinchenko get on the field ahead of Raheem Sterling, bro. Then why the fuck did you sign Sterling? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying Sterling will this game check and be the guy to win us the league. But, bro, why sign Sterling if you're not going to play? You know, just get Nelson then. Like, what the fuck? What are we doing here?
Raheem the Dream.
Bro, it's just like, bro,
dude, and
Arsenal,
I think, Sterling's the type of player that can come into this Arsenal side and actually, make a difference. But the fact that he's just not getting minutes makes it very hard for him to actually find a rhythm. He's playing cup games, he's playing 20 minutes here, he's playing 30 minutes there. Like, he needs to start the next 2 to 3 games. Even if we bench Saka, man, like I know that's where our creativity lies, but he's not 100%, and we can see that, and teams can see that. They know he's not 100% fit, so they're gonna double up on him all day and give him nothing. If we start a fully fit
So,
Sterling, we add a whole new dimension to that team.
Yeah,
and
but
obviously, before I
just to
bring
jump
in,
in,
sorry, Menes, before I bring it in, bro, I just want to say, for example, if you have guys, three players, two players on soccer, it means that there's other spaces on the field. That's where you have guys like Ranieri who will have space. Guys like Partey in the midfield that will have space, because if Saka is able to take three players away from wherever they are or attract them to him, then there has to be spaces elsewhere. But then you've got Rice in the midfield and Marino who don't want to play the incisive balls or the only part is the only midfielder besides Odegaard who wants to play the passes in between the lines. So how can you've compromised so much, Arteta, because you don't want to play one year? For example, sorry guys, I'm gonna bring you all in now. Is that you have Odegaard who's out, right? And how do you fix the Odegaard situation? You most likely bring in one year. That's the most like for like change. Cool, you don't want to do that. Then don't go tinker with anything else. Don't put Partey at right back for extended period. Don't move Havertz to the right. Don't change too much because you're now missing one player, because now you're fucking up the whole system, bro. You get what I'm
The
saying?
whole
If
system,
Odegaard
bro.
is out, yeah. So let me bring in Medes there, bro. So yeah, that's something I wanted to say. I said I'll jump back to you just now.
yeah, man, I just wanted to say with what you guys are saying, like I don't think Ateta is ready for that level of criticism of like benching the star player or the star boy or whatever the case, and recycling the dynamic at which he approaches the game, because yeah, is pretty much just to a certain extent responding to what the fan base might actually want to see versus actually implementing tactics that will actually benefit the team. You look at someone like Pep, who does that on a frequent basis to recycle players, like your Bobs and those young players that the risk is there that you're going to lose the game, and finally you lose it. Yeah, maybe City doesn't have much to lose then, most of us in the Premier League, but just that level of unpredictability creates a certain level of dynamic that it's unpredictable. I think I mentioned also a couple of weeks or a week ago that the Premier League, probably more than other leagues, does homework. You can't come with the same things. And I feel like Arsenal is doing that same mistake of like they want to come with the same approach and want to kill the team with the same style. And it's not going to benefit the team. And should Arsenal not go on and win this Chelsea game, hey, it's going to be spiral downward, and it's just going to drop the confidence level. And yeah, it's just not going to be nice.
Miz, I just
Anything,
wanna
right?
highlight on something that he just mentioned. He mentioned that Pep will bring in someone that we've never heard of before, Oscar Bob. Who heard of Oscar Bob before he scored that winner at Newcastle last season? You know what I mean? Like, think a game like that, you bring on Nwaneri, he starts, or you bring on Lewis Skelly instead of Zinchenko. And like Meredith is saying, taking a risk, gambling here and there, maybe it pays off, maybe it doesn't. But that unpredictability is what we need in the league right now.
Can I jump in there?
100%. And I just want to say quickly, obviously, Liam, just sorry before you jump, I just want to say something. For example, imagine you are playing Newcastle, right? And you 1-0 down, but the game is tough. And for example, you are Ted and you will brave this game. And then you get the likes of Martinelli and Saka on the bench who can bring on in that game. The entire mentality from Newcastle changes. You know what I'm saying? Because even if you 1-0 down, if you see that Saka's coming on, or maybe this game you decided to bench Martinelli or you benching Havertz, and you just something. I just like you said, it's getting stale. If it's getting stale, I think that becomes a major problem. But yes, Liam, bro, please jump in.
Yeah, I just wanted with what Leslie was speaking about, and sort of a question to both of you. Do you think maybe because Arteta believes so much in the core of his team that he's had for the past 2 seasons, that these players are sort of becoming complacent? They almost feel like their position is theirs. Um, and maybe that's why Sterling is not playing as much, because you already have a Trossard and a Martinelli on that side. So that's also the next question. Was it really a wise decision to bring in a Sterling, or was it just a buy to sort of make sure the other teams don't get Sterling and one of those buys?
I just want to speak on
Honestly,
that
you can
quickly. I
go ahead,
think
bro.
with the Sterling buy-in, I feel like Smith Rowe and Reece Nelson were like itching for game time, and they probably only going to play in a cup game or get a couple of minutes in the Europe in the Champions League here, Champions League there. And I think with us losing Reece Nelson, it was like, okay, who's of a good quality that we can have a replacement for Saka? And I think you're right in saying that he backs the core of his team way too much in saying that, like, our back four, Saliba played every single game of the Premier League last season, every minute, which I've rated 100%. Gabriel, same thing. Ben White's close to that. And then you look at our midfield. Rice played every single game last season. But now when we say let's change the front, I don't know if maybe Martinelli is, insane in training and then he just dies out in a game. But for me, he shouldn't be starting nearly as many games as he is. And that's just my opinion. His end product is shocking. His decision making is shocking. He hasn't been the Martinelli that got us to second position 2 seasons ago. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Shannon, I'll let you just jump in there quickly. But, you know, if we give someone like Reece Nelson a go last season and he's now playing insane football, what he did for us 2 seasons against Bournemouth, what he did against Southampton when he came on and scored 2 goals, that's someone that when they have the confidence, they can carry you 5, 6, 7 games until Martinelli needs to earn his spot back or Saka needs to, maybe take a rest or something like that. We just don't have that, that faith in the second string of the team. Shannon, you had something to say there?
Look, what I will say though, that like, if I'm a theater, bro, like, and you see the simple, like, the things aren't working, then put the right-footed player on the fucking right wing and put the left-footed player on the left wing and let them cross the ball in. Like, if they can't beat their men and score insane goals, cross the ball, bro. As a winger, like, I won't lie to you guys, one of my utmost favorite wingers ever, Jesus Navas. Takes the ball, look, shimmy inside out, cross the ball, assist. Every game, predictable, but it works, bro. Sometimes you just like put Martinelli on the right wing, bro. Let him run against his man and work the ball in. You know what I'm saying? Like you just something that's a slightly different, bro. So that, bro, every time Martinelli got the ball, he gets the ball, shimmy, 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 sprint, gets tackled. Shimmy, 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 cut in, tackle. Like there's nothing new to him. I could defend Martinelli is that predictable, bro. And that's not just on him. And I think the problem with having so many young players is that no one is taking charge. No one is saying, listen, Arteta, wait. This is not working. You see at Madrid, Ancelotti leaves them to figure it out. And that sometimes to his detriment because it sometimes doesn't always work. But Arteta is too rigid, bro. It's always system,
Yeah.
this, system. Bro, it's football, man. He's an individual brilliance. And Donzi, bro, I should have bring you in. I know, obviously, you loving this. I know Liam as well. I mean, there's obviously literally three of the biggest ops: United, Spurs, and Chelsea. This is actually crazy. Um, but obviously we play you guys on the weekend, and maybe a wounded animal, wounded Arsenal is maybe not the best team for Chelsea to be facing next, but it also could be that we are that shot in confidence that you guys literally are able to pick us apart. What is your confidence level going into the game? Obviously, seeing Arsenal's recent performances and seeing your recent performances, how are you feeling going into the game on the weekend?
um, you know what, bro? If we were coming off with the back of 3 points at Old Trafford, I think my confidence levels would have probably been uncontrollable right now. I'd probably be jumping on the seat as we speak, bro. I'd be like, get ready because you guys are not ready for what we have. But the United game humbled me in a sense. I think it kind of brought me back to reality a little bit. Obviously, look, I'm naive, I know Arsenal is struggling at the moment. Obviously you don't have Odegaard and stuff. I think isn't he gonna be back for Sunday's game? I'm not sure. Or is he still
Yeah,
injured?
maybe.
So there's a chance he might not be back. Is that what you say?
Exactly.
So if he's not, if Odegaard's not in the squad, I think it gives me even more reason to think these 3 points might be easier than people think. Honestly, Arsenal side to be facing is not exactly the Arsenal that we had last season or even the season before that, if you will. I think this is gonna be an interesting game to say the least. You guys talking about second string and stuff, you saying that you guys lack depth and whatnot. I think we actually superior to you guys in that area. We have a whole B team that play our conference league and whatever you. So I think if it's not working for us, we always have the option of bringing maybe a João Felix in or an Nkunku on the pitch or whatever, Sancho. You know, obviously Sterling is actually cup tied with you guys. I think you can't play against us, so
Yeah,
that's gonna be that's gonna be an issue for you guys. You know, you can't really start Sterling. You know, you're gonna have to stick with Martin Kelly on the wing. You know what I mean? He's gonna have to try and shimmy his way through. But I think if Reece James is playing, you know, and we have Kukurea, I don't see how you guys are really gonna, you know, Kukurea is gonna be eating paella, bro. You know, he's gonna be chopping, but you know, we're gonna have to see how it's gonna go, bro. I'm excited for the game. You know, the United game, like I said, it humbled me, but you know, I know what my team are capable of. I know what this young team are capable of. And you know, if we get the same Arsenal that played Newcastle, I'm excited. I'm excited. You know, let's go. See how this
Ladies
game.
is saying 4-0. You see what's about Tottenham? You see, now they're going to go lose in the week, and then this guy's going to go ghost. And that's the story of Tottenham, but I will wait for their segment,
That's
which is
the
coming
history
up
of the
next.
Tottenham, bro.
Yeah, the
Listen, look,
downfall
I
is
do think
imminent.
that if there is a time to play Arsenal, if you Chelsea, if you Spurs, if you United, now is the time to play Arsenal. What I will say though is that Arsenal tend to go on a run like this every season where we go 3 games where we just muck about and we just look so terrible. Our fan base goes hilarious. We lose our minds in the with doom and gloom. Then it takes a result, for example, a 1-0 win at Inter on Wednesday. For the confidence levels to go right back up, for the players to just, click, and then you want nothing more than a game against Chelsea to then to be the next game. And I think, listen, it can go either way. We play Inter Milan on Wednesday, we lose 2-3-0, and then it's fucked.
Don't beat Inter. If you don't beat Inter, how are you feeling going into that Chelsea game on Sunday, my boy? Because
Look,
I would
at
not
some
be
point, listen, something's got to give. Like, we have to play good at some point. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't just be shit forever. Like, even United, bro. United were poor, but they've gotten the wins. You know, they beat Liverpool in the FA Cup last season. Chelsea were poor last season, but they managed to win, draw 4-4 with City, draw 2-2 with them at the Etihad. So, something will give. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not too sure. I have to tell you afterwards. So for Thursday show, you'll know exactly how I'm feeling. But yeah,
Who are you
definitely, bro.
who are you looking to, bro? Who are you looking to bring you out of this mess that you're in at the moment? Who are you like? Okay, you know, at least we have
Kai Havertz, my guy. That's who I'm not with.
Look,
ah.
I would say Arteta and the team. I think it's not one player because it's gonna take a collective performance, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take, like, especially against Inter. First and foremost, my focus is on Inter, the San Siro.
Yeah.
So you want the team to show up. There's a lot of players that didn't perform over the weekend. Saliba was poor, Gabriel was poor, um, Marino was poor, Martinelli, Havertz, Trossard. Bro, if, for example, I just named you about 6, 7 players there. If those players can have like the game or a standard of performance that we are used to, we're better than Chelsea. But I don't care what anyone tells me, bro. Like, we are a better team than Chelsea if I just show the fuck up. It's as simple as that. And it's no disrespect to Chelsea. I just think we're further along in our process. There's more experience. We just, obviously that doesn't always count. But like I said, I'm looking more to the team than to an individual. Liam, I see you wanted to say something there quickly.
No, I just want to go back to what you said earlier on. You asked the question: As the Arsenal players, are they fatigued? Does it look like they're fatigued and tired and so forth? And remember a few weeks ago, or I think one of the first few episodes, I spoke about depth in the team and Arsenal's team. I still feel like you guys needed to add more players to the squad if you want to challenge for the league and if you still want to play in the Champions League and these other competitions. Because you look at a City has probably like 2 or 3 strong teams that they can play. And that's why we don't really care if they play Champions League and then a big team on the weekend. I'm shit afraid of I'm afraid for you guys. Because Inter is not an easy team.
Look,
So
I'll
I
just say
feel like
this.
a lot of
Not a joke thing,
no,
man.
but I feel
Not a
like you're
joke.
looking past the fact that Inter is a strong team as well. It almost
San
sounds
Siro.
like
San
it's just
Siro.
another game. It's
No,
just
bro,
another
man,
game.
I
That's
tell you, no. San
like
Siro's
your
going to be
players are
tough,
gonna be
bro.
tired come against Chelsea. That's what I'm
Dog,
Look,
full
saying.
look,
strength against Inter, dog.
okay,
Full strength.
gents,
Yeah,
I'll
you're
put
gonna
it to you
need
like
two
this.
full strength teams for midweek and for the weekend.
Okay. Okay. Odegaard, Tomiyasu, technically and Calafiori, 3 players injured. We've got a full strength squad. It's not as bad as people are making it seem. What I will say though is
games within 5 days.
Hold on. Before everyone just goes off the rails, I know it's nice when Arsenal lose because it's like to jump in. But what I will say though is, if we are to win, you two, both your teams, should be worried because my team notoriously, after we have these bad performances, tend to go on a very, very long unbeaten run. That's all I'm gonna say. And
So Shannon, you're saying you're gonna beat Inter and Chelsea?
I mean, what kind of fan would I be if I said no? I do think we got the capabilities. It's okay, bro.
Mind you, Inter second on the table.
Mind the gap. Mind the gap.
Dons, you above Arsenal for one day, and now you think you're back. Now, please, man.
No, really, but you're forgetting to mention Nottingham Forest is also still above him. So it's not that great. He's also got Forest above him, so it's okay. Like I said,
they're cooking something. I don't know what's going on.
What?
But gents, the first hurdle is Inter Milan.
Yes, 100%.
Do you want to win that game or not?
You must jump.
Wait, do you want to win that game or not?
I believe
have to.
Because it almost feels like you're just worried about Chelsea this weekend.
No. I'll put it to you like this. We don't have to beat Inter because it's a league format in the Champions League. Win your home games, don't lose your away games. Whether you finish first in the Champions League group or 8th, it's automatic. It's automatic qualification. What does that say? Win probability.
Yeah, probability. Inter are favorites.
I'm not worried,
Let's
man.
go, man. Look, Inter be favorites, man. You know that Inter, who won the league title a couple seasons ago, that finished Champions League runners up a couple years ago at home, would be slight favorites. So it's better that I prefer Arsenal being the underdogs. I prefer the energy from rivals like this because football is a humbler, gents. That's all I'm gonna say. Marriage will tell you the most. 1 week you up top, 1 week you down low. Football is a humbler. But
can we do predictions for both games?
No, not today. Let's speak.
I don't mind.
All I'm gonna say is
and then I'll say 3-1 against Chelsea. We'll win.
Don't let these niggas bait you, bro. Don't let these niggas bait you, bro.
It's okay. I back the boys. That's my issue. I back them a bit too much. But like you're saying, we tend to go on a run. Like was it Fulham and West Ham where we lost?
Every time we come in the pod, we've lost, dude.
Like, nah, what do you mean?
What's going on, bro? There's a pattern here. What's going on?
Crazy. Maybe it's your predictions that are hurting us, bro. But I think, like you said,
Chelsea. But listen, gents, I do think we will have to tell with Arsenal.
Sorry?
What you say, bro?
What did you say?
3-0 to Chelsea.
I said 3-1 to Arsenal.
No, I didn't say.
Oh, Don said 3-0 to Chelsea.
I said Don's saying 3-0.
That's crazy.
And the donkey gets a red card. And the donkey's going to get a red card too. Kai Havertz.
I think he's still mad about that.
You know why he's saying that? It's not because he knows what happened. Yes, he's touched because Havertz scored last season and he's hoping. That's more hoping.
He's a scrub.
He's got more goals than Nicholas Jackson.
Moving on to Spurs, and I think it's only 30.
Last season.
I want my prediction first.
Sorry, Jess, let's move on to Spurs. Meredith, I think your team had a performance of the weekend, bro. Game of 2 halves, 1-0 down in the first half. Look, everyone always says Emery, Arteta, bro. Yeah, bro. Emery, that's his level, dude. That is his level. Don't let him. Don't people jinx you or say this guy's an elite manager. Yes, he's won Europa League, bro. Fair enough. But this is his level. It showed you clearly, bro. But Meredith, though, speaking of your team and the performance, big win against City in the Carabao Cup. Another big win yesterday. Yesterday a really good performance. Some really good goals by Spurs. Just your thoughts on how you guys performed yesterday.
Yeah, man, I think it is a really big positive for us. Like you can tell even from the interviews that we keep going back to the Crystal Palace game, and we're like, how the hell did we lose that game? And the most part is we're trying to get to a point where we are consistent. Like we know that now we're a team that's gonna attack. We're gonna come at whatever opponent, but where's the consistency? Where we don't want to be 1 week up, we won four this week, next week we concede four, and then it just kind of damages the whole positive this, positive that. But looking at yesterday's game, it was really like a good positive, man. Like, and I think with what we mentioned with Arteta earlier, saying that Ange, we've been calling out as fans to say, hey, my man, you're a bit too predictable right now. Do something. And I think when he substituted Son, we're all like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We're allowing you to experiment, but what are you doing? And it
Love
paid
that.
off. It paid off, and like the dynamic and the system of the game was something we're not really used to. We always see who's
Mm.
this Richarlison coming in from the middle and him coming from the side. Maybe they played better than the times that he's actually started going through the middle. And I think as far as the dynamic of the team is concerned, and just starting to explore other options, because we've been starved of results
100%.
when it came this late. So it's like a thing of like, okay, cool. So are we establishing a new dynamic here? Are we establishing a new approach, which is good for us? In terms of attack, we know we're gonna attack. It's just a matter of like, yo, we can't be letting these goals come in. Like I think we're the team who was considered the most in terms of set pieces. And yeah, it's just a stat that every team kind of goes into knowing for, yo, if we get a set piece, these guys are D's. And those are the things that we still need to work on. And like if we could just shut it down there at the back, I think as far as our attack is concerned, we are there. And I think playing in the Carabao, playing the way we played. I mean, we played what? City's what? Second team or what? Doesn't matter. Yeah, didn't matter that much, but it matters in terms of confidence, to the mentality of the players to be like, okay, we in this thing, we're trying to do this thing. And for me, the way we're going, I'd really like for the boys to just focus on the Europa. Like if I'm being honest, that's the one thing that I would say we're trying to. Yeah, I see. I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's one thing I would like. I'm not trying to be too much because we play United next, I think, and they're on this high for now, and we're not trying to get. We don't want. I don't want us to get to enter the chats of like, could they be in this? Could they be in that? Because I feel like that's what takes away. But from yesterday's performance, really happy, man.
Yeah, Danji, I see you unmuted yourself, bro. You can jump in.
Yeah, no, Meadows, I was just gonna ask, bro. I didn't check, but what differences in the teams did you have when you played City in comparison to when you played Villa? Did you guys come out with the same 11, or was there any differences between the teams?
Yeah, it was a different 11. It wasn't like completely different, but just like the dynamic of it all, like the players that we chose for the fit. I think who's this? Ange kind of expected Pep to play like a weaker team, so yeah, he didn't compromise, especially central because we had like your SARS, we had your Kulisevskis.
Yeah.
So I think we kind of compromised more when it came to like but Son was injured anyway, so he wasn't gonna be playing that type of game. So I
Yeah.
think we went on full
Mm.
force with that. Yeah.
He was injured. He
And
was injured for the City game, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because he had the assist to Brennan Johnson, didn't he, or something like that?
Yeah,
In
yesterday.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was a good assist. That was a good
yeah.
assist.
And
And
look,
then
if I
Ange
may
took him
jump
over.
in, sorry, just if I may jump in, I just think, you know what, the Spurs, and I think Mary, you make a very good point, is that Ange is doing something that the Spurs have been calling out for a while now. Can you be adaptable? Can you slightly think of your tactics? And I think Arteta is in that same boat now. It's like, bro, can you think of your tactics? And I mean, like you said, you take in off Son who just gets an assist. The whole stadium will be like, why? Why would you do that? Ends up getting more goals, and now looks at the stroke of genius. You know what I'm saying? Because that little bit of bravery from the manager, the the unpredictability of, if you're Unai Emery and you're seeing Spurs about to make a change, you're not expecting a number 7 to come up. and you see Son's coming off, so you think to yourself, yeah, that's a good thing. And then you find yourselves, you know, 3
Becoming
goals down
comfortable.
quickly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then, I mean, if you look at it, bro, like the goal that Spurs scored for Dominic Solanke, where he chipped the keeper, bro, what a brilliant goal, bro. Like, Spurs, I say Spurs are some of the best attacking play in the league, bro. And it pains me to say that, but Spurs generally have a very good way of attacking. So,
Fact.
look, I think if you a Spurs fan, there's a lot to be positive now. Sorry, Sid, bro, you're jumping quickly. I know you're about to go, bro.
I just got a dip in a bit, but I was just saying, yeah, man, I agree with what you just said there. Spurs arguably have one of the best attacks in the league, and the way they attack is also very, very, like they
I think
oh,
that's
they
the
have so much
thing.
pace, they clinical,
It's
it's
very
just a matter
fluid.
of, yeah, very, very fluid.
And look, I think you've seen it in multiple times this season. Look, I mean, 4 against Villa, 3 against United. Spurs can score, and I think that's always been the biggest criticism of Tottenham. They are probably the most inconsistent team. You can never bet on Spurs, bro. Like if you're betting, your best level will be fucked by Spurs, bro, because you just don't know what will happen. You get what I'm saying? Like you just don't know what to expect. I think with Ange, I think it's about finding the consistency. Once you can get a consistent, not necessarily the same system every week, but a consistent way of getting things, performances out of his players, then Spurs will be seriously a threat for any team. Because we've seen him multiple times how they're able to hurt all of our teams. They've given all of us headaches. Most recently, obviously United. Beating them at Old Trafford. I mean, that wasn't an easy game, but Spurs made it look easy. Spurs really, really performed well. Spurs could have scored 6 or 7, guys, if we've been completely honest that day. Like 3 kind of flattered United. And obviously, Mendes, bro, your star striker, 60 million pound man, who everyone was like, will he score? Will he not score? Will he continue that form? Was it just Bournemouth? He gets a brace. Obviously had a bit of an injury. He'd started the season. How impressed have you been with Dominic Solanke? And how far do you think he can lead this team? Obviously, you had a great striker that he's replacing in Harry Kane. Shabla City, bro. You've had a great striker in Harry Kane that he's had to replace. How impressed have you been with Dominic Solanke so far?
Yeah, man. I'll be honest. I didn't watch him a lot at Bournemouth, so I would see him on like highlights and stuff like that. But to be honest, I think this is like the most confident I've been since Kane left in terms of like having that player that actually, because it's not just about his attack, it's about his press. And I think that's one thing that I take lightly from a number 9 or like a striker, like his ability to press and drop back. Because if you look at was it the third goal or the fourth? No, the third goal. Between the second and the third goal, I think it's the third goal. It was his press that eventually caused the error from the Aston Villa player and passing it to Sa. And like that's say that again.
Oh, sorry,
Are you
from
saying
Pau
something?
Torres, bro. The defender makes
Yeah,
yes, Pau Torres
yeah,
makes that mistake. Yes.
yeah. And like just seeing him how he plays off the ball is kind of encouraging because it's I think also yeah, after the game yesterday they asked him that he hasn't scored in a while, but he's been able to do that. But surely scoring 2 goals is a relief. And he was like, definitely he's been wanting to get a goal, but for him, it's just getting his game on 100. And I think we've seen that as Spurs fans, like to say, like this man can actually play on and off the ball. I think I've really been impressed, man. Like just watching him play, especially off the ball. Because most of the time, like his goals, they he's just poaching. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just the right movement from the team, and then he gets that final touch. That man didn't have, I think, 5 touches before he scored his first goal. But
100%.
throughout the game, he's just been playing consistently, pressing, marking, or whatever the case. Wherever he was needed, he was there. And then he just needs 2 clear chances, and he scores 2 goals. And I think that's what you
And
need
I think
from
that's a sign of a great striker, exactly, bro. Is that he might not have many touches like Haaland. People always say Haaland doesn't have that many touches, but he'll bang a hat trick. And I think that's what you want ultimately. You want your striker to be scoring. Yes, you would like to see more flair, more fancy, but ultimately, if your striker scoring every other game, bro, no one's gonna be too pissed. Liam, should I bring you in quickly, bro, before we move on to the last couple of fixtures? Do you think that Spurs can push for a top 4 position, bro, or do you think like Mendes is thinking, just aim for Europa League, and maybe a Carabao Cup in terms of where you are now? Or do you think, what, maybe they can aim a bit higher?
I think they can aim for a top four finish if they're serious. I think going forward, they've proved, that they can be in that conversation as far as top four is concerned, as far as Champions League is concerned for the next season. They've scored the most goals in the league so far this season. I think they just need to, it's those small errors that they make when they concede that will make or break them, and it's against these small teams, and I always say it's against these small teams where you need to bury your chances and get the results,
100%.
and whatever you get, whatever you can grind out against the so-called top four, top six clubs, then so be it. But these smaller teams, you need to beat them consistently to be in that in that chat as far as a top four finish is concerned. So I think consistency, that's what Spurs needs this season for the rest of the season. Yeah, consistency. Is Dominic Solanke that guy that's gonna be what's the word, reminiscent of Harry Kane? I don't know yet. It's possibly his first real challenge since leaving Bournemouth. And Harry Kane was a player, no matter where Spurs finishes, you'll always have more than 20 goals a season. So will Solanke do that? I mean, he has 4 goals so far in 8 matches, 1 assist. So if he can continue that form over the weekend, then yeah, I think Spurs, they can finish fourth.
100%. Obviously, guys, we will be moving on to the next fixture, and it's obviously the Liverpool game. I think that's, in terms of the fans that we've had on here consistently, I think it only makes sense to go to Liverpool. I watched the game, and I won't lie, I was sitting there hoping, and I was like, please, Brighton, please, just pull off something. And they were looking good at a point. If Brighton had a bit more clinical nature to them, I think they will maybe be 2 goals up in the first half, and I don't know if Liverpool necessarily come back and win that game, because 2-0, it might be a bit more of a difficult game. But ultimately, Liverpool come back, get the points, and on a weekend where both their title rivals per se lose in Liverpool and City, the one thing you want is to always take advantage of your rival slip up, and Liverpool did just that. Guys, I actually want to speak on someone that, like I always mention, I feel like is the most disrespected player in probably Premier League history, and that's Mo Salah. Mo Salah is continuing to break records, climbing up the all-time goal-scoring record. He's just surpassed Robbie Fowler. He's Liverpool's all-time record goal scorer in the Premier League. And I mean, being an African player as well, gents, I think that's something that is such a great thing to see, because a lot of African players don't get the love that they should. Look at a guy like George Weah, who's won a Ballon d'Or, but no one will ever mention George Weah's name in like our top players ever. You get what I'm saying? But this guy's won a Ballon d'Or. There's players that never won a Ballon d'Or that will get more praise than him. And I'm not saying Ballon d'Or is now everything, but to some extent, I think the minute there's an African passport attached to it, the disrespect, it heightens. People will say that like Vinicius is how he's round for the Ballon d'Or, but you have guys like Salah who, if you look at the 2017-18 Champions League final, that guy was the top goal scorer in Europe at the time. So that just shows you like how is that guy he's never been on the podium for Ballon d'Or, and I just think he needs to get his flowers. And I think Liverpool fans have always said it. They said, this guy's great. And the more you watch Liverpool and the more you watch Salah, you realize the quality of the player that he is. Liam, bro, obviously, Salah has been a player that's tormented United for many seasons now. Do you think that we are getting to the point now where maybe we're just so used to him doing this that we don't respect it enough? Or do you think there's a level of disrespect that we are seeing when we come to the conversations of probably all-time Premier League players in terms of Mohamed Salah?
Now I agree with you 100%, Shannon. I think Mo Salah has been concerned. We spoke about Harry Kane earlier on. I think he's in that same, group of players who have consistently scored, 20 plus goals a season, every season that he's played. I think he was robbed of the Ballon d'Or, especially when they won the last time they won the league and obviously the Champions League. Around that time, I think Mo Salah definitely deserved to win the Ballon d'Or. But he didn't sulk, he didn't put his head down. He still continues to be that Mo Salah, and he's one of those players that's still making Liverpool look like a top four team. I know last season wasn't a good season for them, but the experience that Mo Salah brings to the team, Arne Slot can rely on him to say, okay, you're one of the senior players in the team now. You're gonna carry this team, and he's showing that. So I think, yeah, as far as all-time Premier League best strikers are concerned, I definitely put him up there in the top five with Wayne Rooney, Thierry Henry, Didier Drogba. Yeah, and then Salah and possibly Harry Kane as well.
100%, bro. And I think, you know what, guys, it would take Salah not playing in the league and maybe like 2, 3 years after he's gone to realize how good he actually was. And I think that's a pity. I think it's because he's not a flamboyant winger like your Cristianos or your Neymars. He's more of an Iron Robin-ish player where you kind of know what they're gonna do. But it's one thing knowing and one thing stopping it. But I think Salah consistently. I mean, he's worst. One of his worst seasons was last season. He had a better season than Vinicius in terms of output. You know, so it just shows you the level that this guy's been performing at is been so consistent that no one's actually taking note of it. And I think, unfortunately for him, it's coming against him. Donzi, bro, do you think that we can see this Liverpool side push on from here and potentially win the league? Or do you think it's a bit too early to start making those kind of claims? And, they probably are going to slip up sooner rather than later, given the fact that, the league has got so many games. They have Champions League, Carabao Cup, FA Cup. Do you think Liverpool have enough steam in them to see out the title challenge, or do you think the squad depth and the squad size might come back to bite them later on in the season?
Shannon, I think if you go back a couple of episodes to, I think we were doing like league predictions. I did tell you guys that I think Liverpool are going to win the league, and my stance hasn't changed at all. Yeah, like, look, Liam said it as well. My stance hasn't changed at all. Because if anything, it's becoming more and more apparent to me, bro. Like, I just, game week, as these weeks go on, it's just showing me that Liverpool can come back from the same 1-0 scoreline that City were on, but City weren't able to come back from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Liverpool, they seem to have this fight and determination that, funnily enough, wasn't here last season when Klopp was having his, last season memorial or whatever that was going on. I don't know what was going on, but yeah, Liverpool have come with this new sort of, not, I want to say style of play, because Liverpool play like how, that club ball that's ingrained into them, but they've come with this fight and this want or something. I don't know what it is. Slots implemented something into them, but I think they are most definitely capable of winning the league. I just think it's a thing of, are they gonna do it? Are Arsenal and City gonna be collapse and whatever? Bro, it's unpredictable right now, and the Premier League's exciting again. I'm here for it, bro. Honestly, it's like starting to like the Premier League again.
100%. And obviously, I think Liam did say in kind of his first part, he does expect Liverpool to finish higher than Arsenal. I know you guys already hate my team for some reason. I don't know why. I think we ruined a lot of childhoods in a weird way. Even though United won a lot of trophies, especially I think United fans, the only real rival they've really had was Arsenal. You know, Liverpool and United for some reason they rivals, but they never have ever competed for league titles together like that. Maybe like 1 or 2 seasons, bro. And United always won. You know what I'm saying? Chelsea and United have more rivalry than what Liverpool and United have, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And Arsenal, let's be honest, the Premier League is built off Arsenal and United in terms of rivalry. The Premier League, as we know, is not English football. Premier League from 1992 up until today, the bulk of that, the rivalries, was Arsenal United. Whether it was in the early 1990s, whether it was early 2000s, then maybe yes, you have your Arsenal, Chelsea, United, City. But I think that's why so many of you guys just want to see my team go down, and I'm here for it. Ultimately, when we win the league, I'm going to make sure that I've got the premium subscription for this app, so I can have this full group chat of you guys on here and see all the faces.
Alex,
Mate, is what you say?
Not happening.
Maybe just not saying Alex, but maybe I don't know what that is. But anyways, yeah, look, I think Liverpool, you have to respect it. It's not what we expected. You're expecting a new manager to come in and listen. They have the squad, but does the manager get his point across quickly enough? Sometimes it takes 20 games to implement. Sometimes it takes the whole season. They, from the get-go, have bought into Arne's slots, how to say, his mantra and what he's trying to do. And I think having a Dutch core in this team also
His
helps a lot,
philosophy.
in my opinion. You have Van Dijk, you have Gakpo, you've got Gravenberg, you've got a few Dutch boys there that I think, especially with Van Dijk being the captain, it just made it kind of, I don't know, in a weird way, it's kind of easy when it's like, hey, bro, this is a Dutch manager, Chais here, my boy type of thing. I know in a weird way. I think that definitely did help him. And I think, especially when you've got guys like Salah, Van Dijk, and Trent, who all entered in the last year of their contract, these guys have something to play for. Some like Van Dijk might stay because he's at 33 now. Maybe he doesn't get another big contract like he will at Liverpool. Salah's probably thinking last contract. Trent, maybe not sure. These guys are going to perform because they maybe want to get a new contract or they want to go off on a high. So I do expect Liverpool to continue to push on. However, I don't know if they're able to sustain it because let's be honest, guys. Liverpool are maybe a Van Dijk injury or Salah injury away from potentially collapsing. I don't mean collapsing in the sense where they'll fall away. It's just that is Jero Kwanzo, Joe Gomez in an adequate kind of player? Like, let me put it to you like this. City, if you take out Ake and you put in Akanji, it's kind of similar. Arsenal, I think you can take out Saliba and listen to me clearly. I think if you watch the game against Liverpool, Ben White showed he's good at centre back still. I just don't know if Liverpool have that. The quality gap is so big between Joe Gomez and Van Dijk that can you trust Gomez for 6 months if Van Dijk tears an ACL, or can you trust Luis Diaz for 6 months if Salah tears an ACL? And I think that's where Liverpool. And I mean, also look at the midfield as well. They are quite short. An injury to McAllister or to Gravenberg, and then you're relying on Watoro Endo and Sabozla and Curtis Jones. Does that win you the league? Maybe as a squad, yes, but the minute you take away some of the key players, then maybe they don't. So, look, I'm not yet to hate Liverpool. I think it's still early on, so I don't really have that fear that they're going to go and win the league. It's still too early, in my opinion, to make that prediction, but I do think they're looking very good. Moving along swiftly to the last fixture, guys, probably the most surprising fixture.
So, Shannon,
Sorry,
can I just add one thing there? But with regards to Liverpool, I don't know if you remember a few episodes. Yeah, a few episodes. I said the real test for Liverpool would be, that run of games where they have Manchester City, they have Real Madrid in the Champions League, then they have Man City, then they have Newcastle, and then they have Everton. Those 4 games are going to be, a test to see if Liverpool are really that team this season. Are they really that team that's going to go all the way and either win Champions League or either win the league? So I think that from that game against Madrid and then City that weekend, and then they have Newcastle and then Everton. Because Everton, it might be an easy team for us, but when it comes to Liverpool, it's Chiefs and Pirates. Do you know what I mean? Anyone can win it, no matter who's way on the log standings. So I think I think if they get results from those 4 games, I expect Liverpool to challenge for the league then this season.
100%.
Can I
Ladies, I
just
don't know if you
say?
want to quickly jump on and just say.
Sorry. No, I was just gonna say, in the past decade or so, Arsene Wenger and Sir Alex Ferguson made us think Man United and Arsenal are good teams. If we're being honest, I think sometimes we don't give credit where it's due. We look at the managers take, eh?
To Spurs.
Is
Huh?
it a
No.
Spurs fan saying that?
Yeah.
I'm confused here, bro. I'm like,
I mean,
what?
yeah, I mean, the truth is the truth. Doesn't matter where it's coming from. Could be coming from a Nottingham Forest fan.
How many league
But the
titles did you see in your lifetime, bro?
Eh?
You saw all of
How
No,
them.
many
I'm
league
not.
titles have you seen?
I'm not comparing it to Spurs. I'm not saying in comparison to Spurs. Not comparison to Spurs. I'm just saying Chelsea and Liverpool are better teams than United, and Arsenal. Better teams, you
Excuse me,
know,
who? Who? Who?
and yeah, I'm
You
glad
say
that you guys
Liverpool.
are actually.
Premier
Are
League
you
league title,
comparing
bro?
Sir
The Premier
Alex
League is the way
Ferguson's Man
United.
United?
Yeah,
What are you comparing? The United of now or Ferguson's time?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm saying that you can't compare the United of Fergie is uncomparable. You know, Arsene Wenger's Arsenal is uncomparable, right? And then you look to what Arsenal has amounted to without Arsene Wenger. You look to what United has amounted to without, say, Alex Ferguson. You know, and I'm not saying oh it's trash or it's
Yeah,
atrocious. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying what lies within those
look, I
legacies,
will
or
say, bro,
what lies within those legacies is predominantly the manager itself more than the team. You get what I'm saying?
No,
Because we look at
100%. I think Ferguson
yeah,
has
you
won
got
the
a will
league
say though.
with
yeah,
very average players. He's won the
yeah,
leagues with
and then
Cleverley
now
and Wes Brown, and those were shit players that he won the league with. I agree with you.
100%, right?
Look, I
And
will
then we
say
look at
one thing though. Sorry, man, just go ahead, bro. Go ahead, go ahead. No,
no,
go
no,
ahead,
no,
bro.
it's fine. You can talk, bro.
Okay, cool. So what I would say though is that I think yes, you can tie the managers to the legacies of the teams, and fair enough. But for example, besides, I think besides City, I think United have been the second most successful team since they've United like Ferguson has left. They've still won a lot of trophies. So yes, it's not the league titles that they won, and obviously Chelsea have a good. It's probably it's probably United, Arsenal, and Chelsea in terms of Premier League history, not English football history in terms of Premier League history. And then obviously you have now Man City. Man City obviously have created their own legacy. The only problem with City is that there's none of that legitimate fan base. Even
Yeah,
though
because
Chelsea
now
come from
we
money,
see what's gonna happen to City when
Chelsea
Pep
has
leaves.
still managed to sustain or create a fan base, bro. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of all the money Roman spent, Chelsea still managed to create a culture or something. I think City, bro, City can win the league again 5 times now. It will still not have the impact as if Arsenal win the league this season. You will know Arsenal won the league this season. If Spurs even had to win the league, or you'd know. That's what I'm saying. So yes, I think ultimately in terms of the Premier League era, Liverpool have been good, but they've only won one league title, bro. If you're being they've only won one league title since 1992 in terms of the Premier League. Yes, they can always say we've won multiple Premier English League top division titles, but ultimately Liverpool have been absolutely that's actually quite shocking, bro, that they've won one league title since the inception of this format of the league once, and we've actually luckily enough been alive to see it. You get what I'm saying? Like, so when you're talking about Premier League legacy, and just remember, bro, Wenger also won it at a time where, you know, there was United, but United were the juggernaut what City are now. And I think Liverpool had a lot. Liverpool could have spent a lot more. And I think they did the Arsenal approach, the way they had to look smartly in the market. And that's why if you're a more neutral fan, you will say you'll maybe tend to go towards more Liverpool and Arsenal because you like that underdog story. But you can't knock United and City for their dominance. You get what I'm saying? Like those are era-defining um, dominance, bro. Like City and United, no one has dominated English football like the Manchester clubs, bro. Unfortunately to say, and I think it just goes to show you that what it takes to actually form a legacy in this league. Wenger, unfortunately, he had the duration, but he stopped winning trophies for a long time, and I think that's what knocked him the hardest. If Wenger had won 2 more league titles, you would maybe have a conversation. Because Mourinho was won a lot of league titles. I think he's won 2. Wenger's won 3. So it's like, you get what I'm saying? But anyways, I think back to City. Most surprising result of the weekend, I think. I don't think any of us expected them to lose. Especially given the fact that Arsenal had lost earlier in the day. I think we all thought that Liverpool and City would go on to win their games. I must say that I'm happy, and I've been calling it for weeks that City just don't look at the same team, and it's not. And I guess they allow it, bro. When you've won the league title 4 times in a row, guys, I need you to understand something. That's 152 games in the 4 seasons that they've won the league. You could say they haven't been unbeaten, but in my book, they technically are because no one won the league. They are unbeaten in terms of league titles. And to go 152 games consecutively and winning titles throughout those periods, bro, you are allowed to slip up and be fatigued and be tired as they are now. Um, Donzi, bro, how surprised were you, brother, just with how City struggled against Bournemouth? I hope this guy's here. Against Bournemouth on Saturday. He's not here. Oh, he's here.
Sorry, Shan, were you talking to me or did you ask somebody else? Yeah.
I asked you, bro. I asked you.
So sorry. Did you say? Sorry, just repeat the question one more time, though. Hold up. Sorry, but what did you say? Just repeat the question one more time.
Oh, so my question is like I said, how surprised were you with just the performance and the result that City obviously managed to achieve against Bournemouth?
Yeah. I wouldn't say. I mean, I'm obviously very surprised to say the least. Obviously, look, everyone expects the most out of City. Everyone expects them to win every game. Obviously, it's unrealistic. It's an unrealistic expectation that City have set in the Premier League over the last couple of years. They've gotten a crazy winning streak. I think what a 4-peat or something like that. So, yeah, nobody really expects City to lose a game. Like, it's more so if it happens, then it's like, oh, City lost. Oh shit, it's a bit. But I think, yeah, I was surprised, happy. It's always good to see City lose. You don't want to see City win every single time, but um, yeah, I think great results for Bournemouth. They've shown some real class this season. Are they under Areola, or am I mistaken?
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, surprised, great result for Bournemouth. City were due to have a little bit of a sticky one, and I think this is probably going to be their slip up. Next game they'll probably be back to winning ways. So yeah, well, good game. Interesting football. Premier League classic. Let's say. Well, now it is.
No, 100%. And I think that shows you again that there's 28 games left. There will be many slip-ups and surprises. That's why I'm not here to quickly say Arsenal are completely out of it. I'm not here to say that Liverpool are going to run away with it or City are going to. I just think there's too much. Teams like Chelsea can still come into it. United are only 6 points behind Arsenal. So the league is very much like muddled. I don't think anyone's going to get 90 points this season. I think it's going to be very. Yeah, it's going to be probably about an 80, 85 point title win this season. I don't think anyone will run away with it per se. Liam, obviously, just before we end, bro, City looking shaky this season, not looking like the usual selves. Do you think this is just a phase in the season, or do you think this is a bigger problem, a wider problem at the club, in terms of aging players, aging squad, maybe lack of motivation? Or do you think, we see this from City every year. We sit here and say they're looking not as good as last season, and then they go on a crazy unbeaten run.
Yeah, I think I was gonna say that now. The last 2 seasons we've seen that come before Christmas, City doesn't like that win the league. But come that second half of the season, it's just like Pep just knows what to do. Pep knows the recipe for, and that's why they always say it's a marathon and not a sprint. Because a lot of clubs will be first until December. Arsenal, Shannon, what I'm talking about, and then you run out of steam the second half of the season. Liverpool as well. So I think and that comes down to what I've been saying, the depth that these guys have. But this season, I have a strange feeling about City this season. I don't think it's going to go that way. I think Liverpool or Arsenal will win the league. I think they're just struggling without Rodri, without the De Bruyne. It's making Erling Haaland suffer up front because he doesn't look the Haaland that we've seen over the past 2 seasons or so. If you look at Manchester City, or in fact, their games this season, their league games this season that they've won, except their first 3, have all been by like one goal margin, like a one goal deficit. That's not what we expect. I mean, this defeat to Bournemouth, this 2-1 defeat was like where this is a City team that beat Bournemouth 6-1 last season. Why are they losing 2-1? And this is now two defeats in a row for Manchester City. 2-1 against Bournemouth, 1-0 against Spurs. So yeah, man, I just think they're suffering without the Rodri and De Bruyne. And I think especially with the De Bruyne, everyone's talking about the Rodri, but Kovacic is there. You know what I'm saying? But there's no player like. yeah, there's no replacement for De Bruyne. It's almost if Haaland knows he can run with a blindfold on and run towards the goal, and he just knows what to do. He knows where Kevin is gonna play the ball in, and you can see like he's frustrated. You know what I'm saying?
100%. And look, I just think to round off, I think City are shown vulnerabilities, and I would have loved for Arsenal to have capitalized. For example, if we win that game against Newcastle and beat Bournemouth, that's 6 points now. We're 7 points behind Liverpool. That means we'll be 1 point behind them now, currently, and ahead of City. And that would just put me and give me a lot more confidence. But now it's like, yes, City lost, but I lost. So it's like, what the fuck? It's like, it's cool. Yeah, they lost, but like it means fuck all to me. Like Liverpool fans over the moon because it's like shit. We actually capitalized when our rivals didn't. And I think, though, like I said, there will be a lot of twists and turns left in this title race. I think top four race as well. I don't think you can write off United now. I don't think you can write off Spurs. A lot of people saying just Chelsea's to lose, which it probably is if you're looking at strength of the squad compared to the other two. But Villa are still there as well. Newcastle are there, so it's going to be an interesting season, gents. I think the predictions that we have are going to be so different come the end of the season. We can look at this table and be like, oh shit, like whoa, or I just feel like it'll be so close in so many different ways that it will surprise a lot of us. And I think that's what we want. You don't want the predictable ass league. Whether you might as well go watch PSG winning the French league or Sundowns winning the AFSA Premiership or the Betway Premiership, as you call it now. But obviously, we're seeing our Pirates are performing, but that's another whole different podcast. But yeah, gents, that is the show for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for getting in touch with the comments. I'm sorry we didn't get to really read your comments today. It's just that I was actually watching the stream on the full screen, and so for some reason your comments don't pop up when it's on full screen. So it's my apologies for that. Going forward, I will make sure that I'm on my smaller screen to check all your comments and be able to get in touch with you all in real time. To the panel, guys, thank you so much, James. I know it's getting a bit late. I know we aim for an hour, but we're almost an hour and a half, and I think that just tends to happen on the show. We will try to get the time a bit more honed in as we get further along with this. But as always, James, I really appreciate you coming in for chat. Obviously, always talking about the sport that we all love. Guys, we will be having another show on Thursday around 8 p.m. as well, hoping to have a more stacked panel. Obviously, the game in focus this weekend will be Arsenal visiting Chelsea. If you didn't know already, I also will be linking up with some of the Chelsea guys for the game at Barca and Bedford View. So we will be doing some dope content there for you, so do stay tuned. And also, guys, for all Arsenal fans, if you want to join me, I will be at Copper's in Bedford View, in Four Ways on Wednesday. I have some exclusive things that might happen with Super Sports, so I don't know if it's 100% confirmed yet, but I will be doing some exciting work with Super Sports. So if you want to get featured on a Super Sports segment for the Arsenal Inter Milan game, do come through to Coppers in Four Ways, and yeah, let's get all the Gunners fans, let's get in touch. But as always, guys, this has been the Toxic Show, and don't forget to subscribe. Cheers.